All right, another road test result sheet. The student failed the road test for a particular lack of a particular skill here, or few skills. So they got marked for their 3-point turn, and the examiner wrote 3-point turn on the road, not in someone's driveway. So they pulled into a driveway, but we need to stay out of people's driveway for a 3-point turn. So what you need to do instead is just pull over as you're driving on this road, and examiner says do a 3-point turn. We need to pull over safely to the side of the road. That means signal and shoulder check to the right, pull over safely, stop, signal left, steer all the way left, and when it's safe, right, once we've shoulder checked left, we swing out. But if there's a driveway here, we can't go into the driveway and then back out. We need to stop just at the edge of the curb here without proceeding any further into that driveway. Now, of course, we have a video about this as well, about how to do the correct procedure for this maneuver. They also got marked for A4 and A6. So again, A4 is for 360 checks, A6 is for backing up. And so when they were parking, they needed to show the examiner that they're more careful. Prior to moving the car back and reverse, before they take their foot off the brake to let the car roll, they have performed a 360 check, so left shoulder check, right shoulder check, and then turning around and looking out the back window. Clearly, both of these skills were not up to par, and they got marked for B4, so making sure that when you're making a turn, there is a safe enough gap. So whether there's a pedestrian approaching the crosswalk, you don't want to cut them off before your turn, or if there's oncoming traffic, we don't want to cut them off. And B8 maneuver location, again, they might have tried to do a maneuver not in a safe place. So for example, this 3-point turn, the location of the maneuver was probably not decent. B13, so parking margins, so they must have parked a little bit far from the curb, or maybe perhaps too close to the curb, but generally it's because they park far from the curb. Now, B13 is not usually enough to cause failure on the road test. However, backing up into a curb or bumping the curb will result in a failure. So parking a little bit far, you lose a half a mark or so, but parking too close, or bumping the curb rather, can result in a failure. C1, speed maintenance. So they were going 57 in a 50 zone. That's too fast, right? So 55 would be 10% above the speed limit, and 57 would be about 15% past the speed limit. So there is about a 5% tolerance. Now, they didn't really get marked, they didn't mark as a violation per se. So I think had everything else been fine, they might have let this one slide, but it's too close to being too fast for comfort. So at 57, examiner is starting to pay very close attention to your speedometer and go, hey, why aren't you adjusting the speed? Why are you letting it get out of hand? C9, parking brake. So apply on parking, right? So on all parking is what it says. So they must have forgot to apply the parking brake, whether it's a handbrake or it's a foot brake or it's one of these new buttons that you pull up to engage the electronic parking brake. Whatever the case is, you need to apply the parking brake. It's not enough just to put the car into park. D3, so again, steering wheel position. Did they turn the steering wheel in the correct direction when they were parked on a hill? So again, the main reason for the failure was the A1. So I'm not sure why they mark it here, but I guess they weren't doing a shoulder check on the right turns. And again, general observation, right? So am I checking before I'm backing up?